Hello, this is Carson Cook, your CSO Pro, and welcome to the channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our future uploads. Enjoy the video. Good morning or good afternoon wherever you are, and welcome back. Thank you for joining us or tuning into the CSO Pro channel. Today what we're going to be talking about is something that's very important, and it's understanding the steps of the sale. Now, many of us work with a lot of different companies, and we've been trained on their version of what we would call the steps of the sale. Now we're going to talk about that today just a little bit so that we can have a better idea or an understanding of why your company is put in this process. Sales organizations have spent millions of dollars developing these steps of the sale over many years. And the good part about understanding that is that we need to understand these three most important things about mastering the steps of the sale. Now this is something that's very important because there's a few key things for each one of these 3 points that you can take, that you can write down and that you can study that's going to help you become a better sales professional, help you communicate better, and help better understand your industry. And that's probably one of the most important things to kind of take away from understanding the steps of the sale. They're put in place for a reason. Now, sales professionals have a habit of reinventing the wheel. We're very entrepreneurial, which means we like to change things. We like to trial and error, and we like to kind of create. The problem is that this usually doesn't follow within the steps. It doesn't fit within the system that the company spent millions of dollars developing and that you can see really works. So we're going to talk about these 3 different things today that are going to really help you understand your company's sales process and kind of help you become and understand, become your own sales engineer. To kind of sit back and say, well, you know, the thing is that I can look at this process, break it down, and if I really understand it, then I can master it. Then you bring in a lot of your personal stuff. Then you bring in your creativity. You bring in your personality, every trait that you're going to use to build up rapport. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is all systems are the same. Now, if you look at every sales industry like insurance, car sales, corporate real estate, all the way up to Boeing airplane sales, pretty much any high ticket, low ticket, quick sale system, every single process for the steps of the sale is going to be the same. We're going to go through the introduction. You're going to go through a certain stating the agenda. After that, you're going to qualify your client. Then at some point, you're going to take them through a process where you trial close them or you green light them. You give them a little bit of a test. Then afterwards, you're going to have some sort of full presentation. Once that presentation is going to be there, you're going to meet objections and concerns. And then afterwards, you're going to present them with the deal and ask for the final close. Then there's going to be a contract or an agreement or something that you're put in place to facilitate the communication between you and your client to get done. Some sort of accomplishment is going to be there. Now, the cool part about this is that looking at every sales industry, insurance, car sales, these processes are all the same. So what can we learn from that? Well, if they're all the same or they're very close or they're very similar and they have those steps that are put in place, they found that process, that means that they're put in place for a reason. They're psychological. These steps of the sale are developed around a client making a buying decision. Okay, so understanding that all systems are the same is that, you know, that gives you confidence as a sales professional to say, well, if I master this idea or this buying process, I can pretty much walk into any company, any sales industry, whether it's insurance, car sales, whether it's merchant services, financial services, and I can say, well, this is the buying process that I understand. And I'm going to be very good at it because I understand what it is. Okay, you can break it down. The second thing that we need to understand is that we need to follow the company's process. Now, too many sales professionals, we have big egos. We like to show off our numbers. We like to show others that we're very good. It's kind of the nature of the sales industry. Now, the issue is that with that being said, we like to clash. We like to fight with our sales manager. We like to not follow the process. We like to reinvent the wheel. We want to be a little bit creative. We copy other people in the sales office, which is great. But at the end of the day, the foundation is what's important here. Okay, we need to follow the company's process. And I think there's some articles that are out there that say that you're 40% more likely to achieve your sales targets if you're following the company's process. You're using their CRM. You're replicating the top guy in the company. You're listening to your sales manager. You're taking tips and tricks that are going to help you, close that deal, or eventually close that deal. Like we said before, companies spend millions of dollars in developing these processes and using CRMs, getting you the computers that you need, kind of working with the vice president, the sales manager, having board meetings to find out how their client actually buys. They do target studies. They do all sorts of different things to find out what's going to be the best company process. Okay, so try and not reinvent the wheel. When you're entering into a sales position, okay, your job needs to be to ask questions and to learn the process until you feel confident. Bring in your expertise, your experience, and your personality, okay, but don't forget that you need to follow your foundation. You need to follow the company's process, okay? And if you and how you do that is when you get in front of a client and you walk out of that door, whether it's door to door, you get off that phone call and you say, did I do everything that my manual said? Did I do everything that I learned in training? And if your answer is no, you need to go back through that training. You need to learn the process. You need to learn that foundation. Did I put some extra stuff in there that made me feel good? Did I put some extra stuff in there for me that showed off my personality and showed my communication skills and my content? Yes, I did. That's great. Okay, but you missed a lot of steps. We missed the process, and that's probably why your client didn't buy, or that's probably your client didn't give you the reaction that you wanted. Each step is put in place for a reason. It's like climbing a ladder. You've got to get each step mastered individually, do it the right way before you can allow yourself to move on to that next step within those steps of the sale. And then the third thing is that once you learn your foundation, the only and best way, unfortunately, guys, is hard work, good fashion hard work. And what that is role play every day. Grant Cardone talks about this, guys, but it's extremely important. You should role play every single day. And it's not something where your sales manager does this to you, your CSO puts this in place so that you're on top of your game, but this is also something that you should be doing by yourself. You should be doing this at home. Your position where you make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year, okay, is solely based on your communication. And the only really good way to focus on your communication and your habits is to really practice, to get out there and practice your skill, practice your craft, okay? And that's getting in front of different scenarios, different situations so that you can have your sales toolkit and your objections bag to where you're confident and you can communicate well enough to pull out these objections on the drop of a pin, at the moment's notice once the objection comes out. And the only way that you're gonna ever get to that point where you know every single objection is to memorize them. Once you memorize these objections, you need to put them into play. And how do we do that? We role play every day. Okay, so it's extremely important to understand that, guys, is that, you know, if you can't find anyone in the office that will role play with you, then role play with your manager, role play with your national accounts director, your president, vice president. When you walk in there and you say, hey, I want to role play, I want to make myself better, I want to be able to go through my scripts, I need to be able to answer every single objection, whether it's over the phone in inside sales or outside sales, I need to make sure I can get in front and get into every situation. Now, you'll notice that top performers, guys, in that line graph, okay, they sell like this. That line graph goes up just like that. That means that the more deals that they close, the more money that they make. And their focus is to close deals on the same day or, you know, within a shorter time span of everybody else. Always the top 1 or 2 performers in the company close deals faster and quicker and more efficiently than everybody else in the company. And that's because they know every objection that has to deal with the product. They know every type of client on their end that they have to sell to. So what they say is, oh, this is one of those clients. This is that person, oh, I've been in this situation before. And the only way that you're gonna get in front of those situations is to have experience, is to really sit down with as many clients as possible as a numbers game. But before you even do that, to help swing your curve, to help kill your sophomore slump, to help get you around the bend with product knowledge, to help you make money faster in sales, you need to role play. It's very, very, very important. Pick someone in your office, go through your scripts, memorize them at night when you're taking a shower this morning or the next morning or whatever, right before you're gonna meet your first client, go through the steps of the sale. Bang it out in the shower. Start talking to the wall. Okay, this is gonna get you ready so that when you see your first client of the day, that's not your first client. You've essentially role played in your head, you've role played here, and then when you come out and you start your steps of the sale, you start that positive introduction, you shake their hand, you say, hey, my name's Carson Cook, good morning, how are you doing? You've already done that before. They're not the first client of the day, they're the third because you've already role played. Do this consistently, do this confidently. Just remember these 3 points, guys, when we're dealing with the steps of the sale. Become your own sales engineer. Make sure you research your company's process. Don't make to look it better, look to master what the foundation and the process that they have in front of you. And then bring in your corporate sales tricks, tips, communication skills, personality, rapport building skills, bring that in later. But get a good foundation and you'll succeed. All right, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Please make sure to subscribe to the button below too if you want more sales content. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys soon.